Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you and welcome. As Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our big night of action coming away tomorrow night at the spectacular AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. As Premier Boxing Champions presents Fox Sports PBC Pay-Per-View. And our proud sponsors brought to you by Proper No. 12 Irish Whiskey, the finest, the tastiest, the smoothest liquid gold in the world. And O'Reilly Auto Parts. Order your parts on O'ReillyAuto.com and get free curbside pickup. Well, our pay-per-view event opens up with a world title eliminator and is presented in association with Samson Boxing. Let's meet our fighters at this time. First, with a record of 24 wins, 3 losses with 13 knockouts, fighting out of Houston, Texas by way of Morelia, Michoacan, Mexico, El Michoacano, Miguel Flores. And his opponent ready to step onto the stage with a record of 23 wins, 2 losses, and 3 draws. He has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is a world-ranked contender from the hotbed city of Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, Eduardo Zurdito Ramirez. Not yet. All right, fans, here we go. We're ready to bring our fighters to the scale at this time. The weight limit is 126 pounds for the WBA Featherweight World Title Eliminator. First, here is El Michoacano Miguel Flores. 125.5 pounds, 125.5 pounds for Miguel Flores. And now his opponent, the Southpaw World contender, Zurdito Ramirez. 125.25 pounds, 125.25 pounds. We have a fight, 12 rounds, WBA World Title Eliminator in the featherweight division. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Eduardo Zurdito Ramirez versus Miguel El Michoacano Flores. Opening up our pay-per-view card, 12 rounds, WBA Featherweight World Title Eliminator. Well, fans, Premier Boxing Champions continues with our weigh-in with a welterweight attraction. First, please welcome the fighters as they make their way to the stage. With a record of 25 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw, he has 12 wins coming by way of knockout from Santa Barbara, California. Here is Francisco Chia Santana. And now we invite to the stage, with a record of 37 wins, 8 losses, 20 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the world-ranked contender from Riverside, California, known as the Riverside Rocky, Josesito Lopez. All right, let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. Weight limit in this welterweight special attraction, 147 pounds. First, here is the all-action battle-ready contender, Francisco Chia Santana. £147.75 pounds, 147.75 pounds. And now his opponent, the exciting world-ranked contender, the Riverside Rocky, Josesito Lopez. 146.25 pounds, 146.25 pounds for the Riverside Rocky, Josesito Lopez. And neither of these fighters back down. It's going to be a special attraction, 10 rounds of boxing, welterweight division. Josesito Lopez, the Riverside Rocky, against Francisco Chia Santana. Well, fans, Premier Boxing Champions continues with our official weigh-in. This time we bring up our co-main event of the evening and a world title eliminator presented in association with Samson Boxing. Please welcome to the stage, with a record of 27 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 18 knockouts, hailing from Accra, Ghana, known as the Wild Hurricane, Habib Ahmed. And we invite his opponent up to the stage at this time, standing at 6 feet 6 inches. He is the undefeated world-ranked contender from Coachella, California, the towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. And let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. The weight limit is 154 pounds. It's for the WBA Super Welterweight World Title Eliminator. First, introducing to the scale, the determined contender from Ghana, the Wild Hurricane, Habib Ahmed. 152.5 pounds, 152.5 pounds for Habib Ahmed. And now we invite to the scale his opponent with a record of 15 wins, no losses, 1 draw with 10 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the undefeated contender known as the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. 153.5 pounds, 153.5 pounds for the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Both fighters make way to this co-main event of the evening. 12 rounds. WBA Super Welterweight World Title Eliminator, the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora versus the Wild Hurricane, Habib Ahmed. And now back to you, Kate. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for the official weigh-in for the main event of the evening as Premier Boxing Champions presents the highly anticipated showdown between two of the best fighters in the world for the unified WBC and IBF welterweight championship of the world. This fight is promoted by TGB Promotions, Man Down Promotions, and DSG Promotions. And now let's take a closer look at what many consider the most significant and competitive fight of the year. In the red-hot welterweight division, it's Spence versus Garcia.
I burn the truth inside the ring. That's why I am the truth.
It's a one-round knockout for Errol Spence Jr. What a performance!
Errol Spence is the closest thing to a complete fighter as you can find in boxing today.
And here is the challenger from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the renowned two-division champion of the world, Danny Swift Garcia. And now introducing the defending world champion from Dallas, Texas, the undefeated, reigning and defending WBC and IBF welterweight champion of the world, the Truth, Errol Spence Jr. All right, fans, here we go. Let's bring our main event fighters to the scale. Weight limit on this fight, 147 pounds. First, the challenger, seeking to regain the welterweight crown in his 10th world title appearance, the former two-division world champion, Danny Swift Garcia. 146 3/4 pounds, 146 3/4 for the challenger, Danny Swift Garcia. And now one of the stars of boxing today, in his 5th world title defense, the undefeated WBC and IBF welterweight champion of the world, the Truth, Errol Spence Jr. 146.5 pounds, 146.5 pounds for the defending champion. We have a fight for the WBC and IBF welterweight championship of the world. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view main event of the evening. The Truth, Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Swift Garcia for the unified WBC and IBF welterweight championship of the world.
All right. All right, we are joined alongside by Danny Swift Garcia from Philadelphia, PA. Danny, what did you take away from that final stare down with Errol Spence Jr.?
You know, it's time to go. You know, the wait is done, the hard work is done. Now it's time to fight. It's time to eat and fight.
How is it going down tomorrow night on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view against Errol Spence Jr.?
You know, I'm bringing my A game. You know, I'm hungry. I feel great physically, mentally, and now it's just time to go.
Good luck tomorrow, Danny.
Thank you.
Danny Swift Garcia joining us, and now I will come over to the unified welterweight champion of the world from right here in the Dallas area, Errol the Truth Spence Jr., who has an undefeated record. Errol, the last time we saw you inside the ring was over 14 months ago. You've been through a lot during the course of that year plus. How are you feeling just one day away until your matchup at AT&T Stadium?
I feel great. Been training hard, been 100% focused. I'm ready to go come tomorrow night.
A win over Danny Garcia tomorrow night on pay-per-view does what for your legacy?
I mean, he's a great champion, so beating somebody like Danny Garcia means a lot, but I'm not thinking about my legacy, I'm thinking about my career. And I feel like me just beating him and after my accident and beating a guy with that type of level and his type of stuff that he achieved, I think it'd just be great.
Well, good luck tomorrow, Errol.
Thank you.
Errol Spence Jr., both men are determined, both men are focused, they're ready to go. It all goes down tomorrow night on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view.